Welcome to the Sports Phenom Show for another week of your MLS action, where I have you another 3 MLS best bets for you to take advantage of. Thus far on the season, I'm on absolute fire as usual, and there's no stop to my winning ways with an impressive, more than impressive, 24-12 66% record with a run of 12-4 over the last 16 selections. That's over a 6-week span. And this is why I continue to prove why I am the number one capper and professional sports bettor on the planet. No matter what sport I do, I win. And by following me, I will not only make you money, I'll also save you money. I am the only source, folks, that you will ever need. Bottom line. Now, let's get to this week's best bets. First off, I want to apologize about getting this recording up a little bit later than I wanted to here this week. We're already into early Saturday with games coming up in about 15 hours from the time of this recording. So I'll try to get up a little bit earlier next week. So I'll do a quick rundown here of the 3 plays I like this week to speed things up a little and get this out to you as soon as possible. First game I like this week, it'll be between Philadelphia Union at home against Inter Miami. Now, who would have thought Philadelphia, currently sitting first in the Eastern Conference, with Inter Miami 6th? If anybody would have asked me earlier, before the season even started, where I think these teams would be sitting at this point, I would have had this at the exact opposite, with Inter Miami top in the Eastern Conference and Philadelphia right around that 6th place mark. But that's not how it's been. And the reason being is Philadelphia right now is the hottest team in the league, probably next to only the Vancouver Whitecaps. They are unbeaten in their last handful of games, coming off of 2 straight victories, 1 at home against LA, the Galaxy, and another on the road last week in Atlanta, while Inter Miami is slumping. It's really even a shock to use that word with a team that has caliber of players as good as 4 ex-Barcelona players in Messi, Busquets, Suarez, and Alba. Mind you, Suarez hasn't been there for the last couple of games, should be back for this one. So that, right off the bat, is going to make a difference, I feel, in this game. My pick will be on Inter Miami. Anytime you're going to get Inter Miami in this position, I've said it before when we've taken Inter Miami in these types of spots, playing against a team ahead of them in the standings, especially when they are looking at a team in first place, they've never lost. And that is a huge trend that I like to continue in this game. Now, I did mention that Philly is the hottest team in the league, and I don't necessarily like going against a team that's that hot, but look who they played. I just mentioned their last 2 wins. They beat Atlanta. Atlanta's right now in 14th place in the Eastern Conference, only ahead of the worst team in that conference in CF Montreal. Atlanta's only won 2 games. The only other 2 teams worse are CF Montreal and LA Galaxy, who have a combined 1 win between both of them. So what should we take from that Atlanta win? Nothing. The week before that, they beat LA Galaxy, also by 1 goal, this time 3-2. I just finished mentioning LA Galaxy hasn't even won a game yet this season. What does that tell us? Nothing. The week before that, when they did actually have a good team, some good competition in Columbus, they were able to draw at home 2-2. But you got to think, if they had the same result in Columbus at home, they were able to squeeze out a 2-2 game. And I saw some of that game, and Columbus looked like the better team to me. Before that, who did Philly beat? CF Montreal. I mean, are you kidding me? They've beat 3 of the worst teams for their last 3 wins in the league in Galaxy, CF Montreal, and Atlanta. What is that going to tell you? Nothing. And they've only beat those teams by 1 goal. And even before that, for their 4th straight win, or 4th win ago out of the last 4, they beat DC United. Where's DC? 12th in the Eastern Conference. Folks, the bottom line here is, yeah, Philly is the hottest team in the league right now, and they are first in the Eastern Conference and first in the entire MLS, but they haven't played anybody. And here comes a salivating, desperate Inter Miami team that has to get back in the win column. They have New York City, Charlotte, and Chicago all within 3 points of Inter Miami. You think Inter Miami is going to fall back to 7th, 8th, possibly even 9th position? Even the New York Red Bulls in 10th place are only 4 points back. No way Inter Miami is going to allow themselves to fall any further back in the standings here, folks. I expect a motivated Inter Miami. I expect Inter Miami with Messi to come out here on absolute fire, desperate, as I said, to get back in the win column. And what better way to do it but to remind the league that, hey, they are the team to beat. They are going to come back. They will work their way up the standings once again, and yet do that by beating the top team in the Eastern Conference, the hottest team in the league right now. But as I said, Union haven't played anybody, and Inter Miami will prove it, bring them back down to earth, and let reality set in for the Union again. Yeah, you've had a great schedule, but what are you going to do when you play the better teams? My play, the first one, is on Inter Miami to get back in the win column. And we're going to get a great line on this game to top it all up. Plus a half is only paying minus 150. And you know that sticks within my minus 150 or better rule. The only service on the planet that provides only selections with minus 150 or better. Take Inter Miami plus a half. We draw this game, which is an absolute joke. We are going to win. That's how solid this play is. That's how much I love it. Inter Miami plus a half. Take it to the bank. Next game, we're going to take a look at the Toronto FC matchup at home, playing against Nashville SC. And what a big win the Toronto FC had last weekend, absolutely thrashing CF Montreal 6-1. 6-1. It does not get bigger and better than that. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, CF Montreal is last. You just even finished talking about it in the previous game you gave out with Inter Miami and how Philadelphia beat them by only 1 goal. So CF Montreal's, just what they are. A team that hasn't done anything all season. That's true. But they are derby rivals, Toronto and Montreal. Montreal will always play Toronto tough. Toronto actually lost to Montreal in the Canadian Championship preliminary round. After blowing a 2-0 lead, they ended up losing in penalty shots as Veroni scored late in that game to take it to penalty shots. So between these two teams, they traditionally play tight games. So to see Toronto come out with such a big victory, it really just proves that this team is better than their record. They are going to move up the standings. I said this a few weeks ago when we took them. Don't expect them to be in last place for long. And they haven't been. From 15th up to 14th, now up to 13th, only 1 point behind DC United, who they beat just a couple weeks back. Expect them to overtake DC United and then start challenging the New York Red Bulls, New England, Chicago, Charlotte's out there for a playoff position. And in order to do that, you keep the motivation going after a big win like that, their biggest of the season, by playing a team in one of those playoff spots. And not only that, but in the top 5 of the conference right now. Nashville, also a team doing very well for themselves as of late, sitting in 4th place. Nashville FC coming off a draw last week against DC United. They beat the Red Bulls the week before that, and they also beat Charlotte the week before that after coming off a draw against Atlanta and a big win prior to that against Chicago. But look at all these teams I just talked about. All of them are pretty much in the bottom of the standings or in the middle of the pack and barely in even a playoff position at this point. I mean, Charlotte's lost 5 straight. What have they done? Nothing. New York Red Bulls have lost 2 in a row. So again, the competition hasn't been that good for Nashville. Same as what I was just speaking about in the Philadelphia Union game against Inter Miami. This is a great spot for Toronto FC. At home, off a big win, catching a Nashville SC team that might not take Toronto too seriously here, and they've had a lot of lower-end competition. So I'm all over Toronto FC in this one. And just like with Inter Miami, we're going to be able to take them plus a half here. Lay the 150, same line as Inter Miami, and we're going to be able to walk away with cash in our pockets even if this game draws. Again, another solid bet that you can only take advantage of in a sport like soccer where you get these types of lines, draws, cash, and put big money in your pocket all season long. So, folks, I absolutely love this play also just as much as Inter Miami. My second of 3 MLS best bets for this week on Toronto FC plus a half. Next game, and this is going to be your final of 3 MLS best bets for this weekend's action. This matchup is going to be between Real Salt Lake at home against the Vancouver Whitecaps. What a season Vancouver is having. Absolutely incredible. Who would have thunk it? Topping the Western Conference right now ahead of teams like both LA teams, ahead of Minnesota, who's been red hot. They are absolutely dominating that division right now. And there doesn't look to be any stop to this team. They're going to be in the Champions Cup final against Cruz Azul come early June. It's just a team that's seemed to be on some sort of destiny run right now to like win everything, anything and everything that they're allowed to win. It just seems like anything you put in front of them, anything Vancouver has as a challenge, they are going to be formidable. They are going to get the job done, and they are going to get a result for you. And that's why I'm on them again here this week. I especially love them when you're catching them on the road and everybody says they're going to be tired. They're going to have a long flight. They've been playing a lot of games. I get it. But have they shown you any reason to think that that's coming into play at any point yet at this portion of the season? Maybe it will eventually, but it hasn't. And they're playing a Real Salt Lake team who has anything but impressed me all season long. They've lost to teams like Toronto FC at home. Their schedule has been relatively easy, and they still aren't winning a lot of games. If we look at what they've done as of late, they're sitting 12th right now, by the way, in the Western Conference. They lost to Colorado in Colorado last week. They did have a couple of draws against FC Dallas and Portland in the weeks prior to that. And that was also those 2 games coming off a loss against this same Vancouver Whitecap team. So what should change in this one? The altitude, the flight, like I said, Real Salt Lake getting that home field advantage, maybe a little bit, but in all honesty, I just don't see any stop to this Vancouver team. You're going to make them a plus 160 dog. You're going to give me an opportunity to take them plus a half and again cash on the draw, which is more than likely what's going to happen in this game. Well, I'm all over it. Sign me up, folks. It's just really as simple as that. I have nothing more to add to this. This is a bet on the hottest team in the league who, unlike Philadelphia, beats the best of the best competition. So this should be another cakewalk for them, even on the road. At worst, they draw, we cash. Take it to the bank. Vancouver Whitecaps, my final selection, plus a half. Okay, folks, so there you have it. Let's recap now your top 3 best bets for this weekend's action. Starting first with Inter Miami, plus a half. Next selection, Toronto FC, plus a half. And your final selection, the Vancouver Whitecaps, also plus a half. Folks, let's continue to roll. Let's continue to build the bankroll. I'm the Phenom. Let's get this money. See ya.